experience, no matter how, this moment in time with us. Sabrina, you are and will always be in my heart. God bless you. Aretha was the sum total of her life's experience. And she shared that with us through the soul songs she sung. She spoke to us through her soul and everything she experienced. And that's why, no matter what she was saying, she moved every single person. And so, with apologies for Paul Lawrence Dunbar, I said, "Graham, stop that noise, Miss Lucy. Put that music book away. What do you should keep on trying? If you practice till you're great, you can't start no notes of flying like the ones that rants and rants from the kitchen to the big woods when Aretha sings. You ain't got the natural voices for to make the sound come right. You ain't got the tones and twistings for to make it sweet and light. I'm gonna tell you one thing now, Miss Lucy, and I'm telling you for true. When it comes to real rock singing, it ain't no easy thing to do. Easy enough for folks to holler looking at them lines and dots when there ain't no one can sense it and the tune comes in spots. But for real melodious singing, just to scratch your heart and please, just you stand and listen with me when Aretha sings. Ain't you never heard Aretha? Listen, look here, ain't you joking, honey? Well, you don't know what you lost. You ought to hear that gal waddling, rabbits, lots, all them things. They stay back on a holiday basis when Aretha sings. Fiddling man stopped his fiddling. Throw his fiddling on the shelf. Mockingbird stopped his whistling because he's just so ashamed of himself. Folks are playing on the banjo, Japs their fingers on the string. Bless your soul! Forget to move them when Aretha sang. She just...
deliver the eulogy for Dr. C.L. Franklin. And I opened that eulogy by asking everybody who was there to join me in his prayer hymn. And that was the way we opened up. I'm going to ask the songbird of the South, Sister Dottie Peoples, to accompany me. As I attempt to eulogize Aretha Franklin. My subject is Aretha, the Queen of Soul. Aretha, the Queen of Soul. Repeat after me, if you will. Aretha, the Queen of Soul. Sometimes during the month of May in 1964 at the Regal Theater in Chicago, Illinois, a local disc jockey by the name of Span Cooper officially anointed and crowned Aretha the Queen of Soul. But I have come here today to tell you, the people of the earth, that God crowned Aretha Queen of Soul long time ago. You may ask when. I'll tell you when. Back before the morning star. Back before the sons of God cried out for joy. Before that was a when or a where, a why or a which, a this or a that, God crowned Aretha Queen of Soul. see that here in the second chapter of the first book of the Bible, Genesis chapter 2, verse 7 says, "And the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul." In this one verse, do we see the total being and makeup of mankind? This verse alludes to the trichotomy of man, that man is made up out of three entities. And it lists these entities: body, spirit, and soul. It says, "And the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground." That's man's body. In the Greek, it is suma. "And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life." That's pneuma, translated spirit. And then it says, "And man became a living soul." That's suchi, or the inner man, his emotions, his will. Man became a living soul. And so this word form, God formed man, is like that of a potter that takes his clay and shapes it so as to form the vessel that he is trying to make. And this is saying, in essence, that God was totally involved in the fashioning of mankind, that God took that dust of the earth, took it and formed it and shaped it, configurated it until he got it like he wanted it to be. And then God stood it up, because it did not become he until he breathed into its nostrils the breath of life, and then he became a living soul. So then this is saying, in essence, as it relates to all of us, I am a spirit, I have a soul, I live in my body. I wish you would just repeat that after me if you don't mind. I am a spirit, I have a soul, I live in my body. But when we hear the title Queen of Soul, how does that connect with God? Queen of Soul. Well, this title comes from our black culture. You know, when we talk about Queen of Soul, it alludes to a form of music that is known to us as soul music. So what is that? What is soul music? Soul music is a type of music that is a combination of some of all of the music. Jazz, splattered with a little gospel, peppered with a little soul. It has all kinds of rock, and then meshed into an urban rhythm kind of blues is soul music. So with all of the various musics wrapped up into soul music, that's evidence of the fact that there must be a God somewhere. But what does this word soul mean? What is soul? I think it is appropriate right along through here if I would allow Aretha's father, the late Dr. C.L. Franklin, to come and stand before us and tell us, Dr. Franklin, what soul is. Because back in 1955, Dr. C.L. Franklin created an album that was called the 23rd Psalms. And when he got to verse 3, where it says, "He restoreth my soul," he said something I would like to quote. He says, and I quote, "Soul is pretty hard to define. Nobody can really say what soul is." He said, as close as we can come to defining soul is to say that soul is that part of man that is a little bit like God. That means then that God in man is soul. Again, God in man is soul. Thank you, Lord. And so when we come down to this thing called soul, today in our world, we look at our world as it is flowing and going and moving, and it is quite obvious that with the world moving as it is, that mankind is moving toward losing his soul. One day, back in the days of slavery, there was this slave owner who was getting ready to travel abroad, and he called his top-notch slave and said to him, John, I'm getting ready to go overseas, and I'll be gone for several months, and I want you to take care of my child. I want you to take care of my child's clothes, take care of my child's shoes, take care of my child until I return. And then several months went by, and John saw the boss coming down the road and ran to him and got down on his knees and said, Master, sir, here are your child's clothes. I washed them, I rinsed them, I ironed and I folded them neatly. Master, sir, here are your child's shoes. I shined them and I buffeted them. But Master, sir, I lost the child. I lost the child. One of these old days, that awful day, will surely come. Upon it, I will make haste when I must stand before my judge and give and face that solemn test. That will be a critical time for some of us, because we will say on that day, Master, sir, that body you gave me, I cherished it. I bathed it. I showered it. I washed it. I brushed the teeth daily. Master, sir, I put colognes under the neck and perfumes on my body. I anointed it with precious creams and ointments. Master, sir, I wined and dined the body you gave me. I laid and played in the body you gave me. I huffed and I puffed with the body you gave me. I joked and I jest with the body you gave me. But Master, sir, I lost my soul. How cold, how chilling, how non-redeeming. Listen. Master, sir, I lost my soul. I lost my soul. But what about your soul? What condition is your soul in today? That part of you that is supposed to be like God, where is it? What's going on? Have you lost your relationship with God? Have you? Let me tell you this. 100 years from this moment, it'll make no difference about how much money you got in your bank account. It'll make no difference about how many stocks and bonds and mutual funds you have invested in the Dow Jones Index. It won't make any, never mind about how many men you have, women you have, what you've done, how she got mad with him because of what you said about her. 100 years from this moment, the only thing about any of us that will matter is whether or not your soul has been saved. That's all. That's all. That's all that will matter. But shift with me now, if you will, and come to where we are with the eyes of the world on us in this homegoing celebration of Aretha, the queen of soul. The question that I want to ask, how can we take this iconic stature of Aretha Franklin, who we deem queen of soul? I mean, how can we walk out of this room today and say that it is Aretha's life, it is Aretha's legacy that has brought about real, true change in our world on today? I mean, how can we do that? How can we say that her life and what she has involved herself in while here on earth, that in this moment of the last day of the month of August 2018, when we carried her to her final resting place, true change came to our world? How can we immortalize the Queen of Soul? Well, right in here, we see the United States of America, the land of the free and the home of the brave. If we can see the black America, the African American community, if we can just remove the veneer, take away the prejudice, lay aside the biasness, and take a good, clean look at where we are in black America, if we are truthful, honest, and fair, we will have to say that black America has lost its soul. The one thing that black America needs today, more than anything else, is to come back home to God. Hush, listen. I hear the Queen echoing in the wind. Something must be done, done, done. Something must be done, done, done. Something must be done, done, done. The Queen is wanting to issue her mandate. She's wanting to sign her executive order. Something must be done, done, done. You may not know it, but Aretha did an awful lot for the civil rights movement. You've heard the various speakers talk about how she worked for Dr. King and took no monies for her services, how she mounted that podium and sang, "Precious Lord, take my hand," when we buried him back in 1968. And one of the other main things that I don't think too many of us may have recognized, but it was Aretha who spoke out and delivered Angela Davis from the awesome situation that she found herself in. And the thing that I remember about it is that my uncle, Reverend A.R. Williams, in Memphis, Tennessee, was close confidant, bosom friend to Dr. Franklin. They played checkers every day. It was a time for them to kick back, unwind, relax, and talk smack one to another. And I remember Uncle Buddy, that's what we called him, talked about how it was that Reverend Franklin was disturbed about how Aretha went and got Angela Davis out of jail. And he hadn't heard that she was connected with communism. And he did not want that to be a blight on his church and a blight on his ministry. And he pumped Aretha. "Why did you do that, Aretha? Why did you?" And she, out of hysteria, said, "Daddy, she is a black woman and had nobody to help her, and I wanted to help her. Period." So I hear a voice again, rumbling through the echo of the wind. Something must be done. Something must be done. Something must be done. No one can deny that black America, there is truly a need in our race. As I look back in retrospect, allow my mind to take a stroll back down memory's lane. There was a time when we thriving economy. I remember we had our own little grocery stores. We had our own little hotels. They weren't big and fancy, but they were ours. I remember we even had our own little banks. Ladies and gentlemen, as bad as the days of Jim Crow and segregation were, the one good thing out of segregation that it did for us, it forced us to each other instead of forcing us on each other. And we quickly come to realize that as a people, all we really have is one another. But when we marched, when we protested, when we got through saying we shall overcome, yes, we were rewarded with integration. We got what we fought for. We got what we marched for. But with the birth of integration, there also came the loss of not only the black community's economy, but there also came the loss of the black man's soul. Oh, you ain't got to say it, man. I know I'm preaching to you. We lost our soul. Oh God, Jesus, help me today. We lost our soul. Why is your soul, black man? As I look in your house, there are no fathers in the home no more. Why is your soul? 70% of our households are led by our precious, proud, fine black women. But as proud, beautiful, and fine as our black women are, one thing a black woman cannot do, a black woman cannot raise a black boy to be a man. She can't do that. She can't do that. She can't do that. Black man, where is your soul? A study was released not long ago by Tuskegee Institute, and in this study, it showed how the Ku Klux Klan has killed 3,446 black people over an 86-year span of time. That's an awful lot of black people for anybody to kill. But the study also revealed that black people killed that number of black people not once a year and not 86 years, but every 6 months. So you multiply times 2, the 3,146, that means that we kill 6,000 plus black people every year. And over that 86-year span of time, that equates to us killing among us 592,712 black people are killed by black people. It amazes me how it is when the police kills one of us. We're ready to protest, march, destroy innocent property. We're ready to loot, steal, whatever we want. But when we kill 100 of us, nobody says anything. Nobody does anything. Black on black crime. We're all doing time. We're locked up in our mind. There's got to be a better way. We must stop this today. Think down, look down, walk down, talk down, act down. we're low down. Where is your soul? And so, if you choose to ask me today, do Black Lives Matter? Let me answer like this. No, Black lives do not matter. Black lives will not matter. Black lives ought not matter. Black lives should not matter. Black lives must not matter until black people start respecting black lives and stop killing ourselves. Black lives can never matter. Walk around in our communities today, it hurts my heart. Everybody you see in our community walking around like zombies. You know, just whacked on crack. Everybody high. Everybody drunk. They walk up to you and try to reach for you. You shoo them off like they're flies. Where is your soul? Where is your God? So, shift back and come to where we are. The Queen's legacy. The Queen's life. What can we leave here saying that the Queen of Soul has done, is doing, or will do that will impact us as a race to turn our race around? The eyes of the world are upon us today because of late Dr. C.L. Franklin. I mean, despite the fact that his marriage faltered and he and his wife broke up, we don't know really what happened, but we do know that he ended up having to raise 4 children by himself. No, I'm not saying that Dr. Franklin exercised the best parenting skills that there are. I'm not saying that. By no impression am I trying to perpetrate that to you, because he certainly did not. There was no way that a man called upon to preach the gospel as much as he did and have the awesome responsibility of pastoring his church. There's no way in the world that he could adequately raise through parenting skills. No way he could raise 4 children. Something in the home had to be wrong. There had to be some kind of deficit.